It's spooky season, and I guess I'm obligated to give you guys something at least remotely spooky. Don't mind my bike right here. I had to take it in from outside because I don't want it to get damaged from the cold and the snow. It's blocking one of my exits from my apartment, so if there's a fire, I'm likely to die, but to be frank, I'm okay with that because I hate my life. The other day, I was browsing the Steam store page, and I happened upon Doom VR. Or Doom VFR, if I should be real with you. It's called the Doom VFR, and it's supposed to be something like Doom frickin' reality. No, Doom virtual frickin' reality. It's stupid, but I think it might be fun to play. And then I noticed that the reviews were mixed. And then I started to play the game. Then I realized why the reviews were mixed. Doom VFR takes place right before the events of Doom 2016. At least that's what I think. You play as Dr. Abram Peters. Now, who is that? Well, he's just some scientist that gets eviscerated by one of those ugly pink assholes right after that one bitch from Doom 2016 opens the hell portal. His consciousness is then transferred to a robotic chassis similar to that of the antagonist of Doom 2016, Samuel Hayden. Now Honest Abe has to close the hell portals and save Earth. How will he do this? By traveling through bite-sized Doom levels. How do I start with gameplay? The gameplay is like Doom, but in VR. And this sounds like a cool thing, but it's not. In Doom 2016, a lot of the times I felt my deaths weren't because I lacked skills, but more or less because the game wasn't made to be in VR. Now, when I say that, it is very simply a game made to be in VR, but they overlooked a lot of quality of life that most VR games have. The fact that they overlooked snap turning and even smooth turning in a VR game is beyond me. It makes it insanely annoying to combat enemies out of view, or react to damage when you're taking it. Aside from that, the game doesn't even let you calibrate your height, which is pretty much required when you're playing this kind of game. I always felt like my character's limbs were insanely weird when I played. I've already mentioned that the levels are bite-sized compared to Doom 2016, and probably Doom Eternal. I haven't played that one yet. However, I actually think that this is a good move on the dev team's part. Considering that there's almost no quality of life changes done to make the game playable in VR, you're probably going to want to take a break after a 10-15 minute level. There's really just not that much to say about level design here. Doom VFR has pretty much all of the guns from Doom 2016, however, they altered the upgrades for these weapons, or they just simply reduced the options from 2016. The feel of the weapons tend to range from mediocre to awful. You're not able to double hand a weapon, so a weapon like the machine gun, which feels like a gun you should be wielding with two hands, you wield with one, which feels weird. That being said, the worst weapon is the shotguns. Neither of them seem to hit enemies from a range, and when enemies are too close, the bullets go right through them. It sucks. It is so annoying trying to kill an enemy that's relatively close to you with a shotgun, and it just doesn't work. Telefrags, which are a very important part of the game, are insanely wonky. This is how you gain ammo and health mid-combat. It is so janky that it's almost useless trying to utilize it. They made some other abilities to help you out, such as one that pushes away enemies, but I always forgot to use that. About midway through the game, the player is given a BFG derivative. It's probably the best gun in the game, aside from having limited ammo. I found myself using it a lot once bigger enemies started showing up in mass quantities. I also found myself using it more when I was sick of a particular fight than out of necessity. So it didn't feel as good as a BFG, where BFGs in the original Doom 2016 was something that I needed to use because I was going to die. Whereas in this game, I just use it when I get bored. Now let's go over some of my final thoughts about this mess of a game. The gunplay was not good for the most part. The graphics were insanely blurry for some reason when I played. My headset's trash and so are my eyes, but I think that for some reason that was intended. The devs clearly didn't put that much thought into the VR aspect of this game, rendering the game not really all that fun to play in VR, ironically. The soundtrack is pretty bumpin', not gonna lie. It's you know, doom metal, which is something I can appreciate. Probably my favorite part of the game. Overall, the game is a huge missed potential. I feel like some reworks could fix these problems, but I'm not a dev, so maybe those reworks aren't so simple. Before I conclude the review, I should state that the game has been listed for Index, Vive, and Windows Mixed Reality headsets, but not the Quest series. It still works, but may have contributed to some of my problems with the games. I do find it strange that they wouldn't support the VR headset with the highest install base, but I'm just gonna blame Mark Zuckerberg for that one. Honestly, the most scary thing about this game is the fact that I paid money for it. It's not a good game. It's playable, but it's not enjoyable. And it's a damn shame considering Doom generally produces good games, with the exception of Doom 3. From what I hear, I never actually played Doom 3 either, so I guess I'm not really an expert on this. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I had to get something out for Halloween. This isn't the video I wanted to get out, but you know, sometimes creating content that you necessarily aren't proud of is better than not creating content at all. It's a hard lesson I have to learn, I guess. Next month I'll be getting a review out, and it won't be a first-person shooter. It also won't be a VR game. It will be something a bit more interesting, something that I'm looking forward to doing. So stay tuned for that. If you like my stuff, you know, subscribe and like or dislike if you hate it. I don't really care either way. I do this as a joke. Like my life.